Yo, what's good? We're back with another one.
It's showtime.
Even in death, the secrets of Jeffrey Epstein remain tightly guarded. But earlier this year, I spearheaded a Wired investigation that uncovered the data of almost 200 mobile phones belonging to visitors to his infamous File Island. The data was so precise, we were able to map the paths of these visitors to within centimeters, including their neighborhoods, buildings of origin, and the paths they took to get to the island. These digital trails document the numerous trips of wealthy and influential individuals seemingly undeterred by Epstein's status as a convicted offender. Wired's analysis of the data is ongoing, and it raises profound questions about privacy and surveillance. This is Little St. James, aka Epstein Island. These red dots on the map represent some of the 11,279 coordinates I obtained. They were left exposed online by a location data broker with ties to the Defense Department called Near Intelligence, now known as Zira. Between 2016 and Epstein's final arrest in 2019, Near collected data on more than 200 cell phones that visited the island. We don't know why they did that or which client or prospective client of Near decided to query the data in this way to produce the maps. But the maps you'll see in this video show where visitors to Epstein Island spent most of their time.
This guy's fucking brave.
Yeah, they're gonna get him.
Epstein also had a helipad on the island and owned at least one helicopter, a Sikorsky S-76, which he used often to transport himself, guests, and victims from the airport or elsewhere, according to legal documents and testimony. It's worth noting that the data reveals a regular flow of traffic to and from Little St. James between 2016 and 2019. A lot of people were visiting the island even after Epstein had pleaded guilty in 2008 and served jail time for procuring a minor for prostitution. If we keep following the data trail and we widen our view, we'll see that the tracking of visitors continues once they have left the island and presumably gone back home. The Near Intelligence data we uncovered pinpoints 166 locations throughout the United States and 80 cities across 26 states. Topping the list were Florida, Massachusetts, Texas, Michigan, and New York. The data points are labeled as common evening locations or common daytime locations, typically their homes or work. Many of the visitors were likely wealthy, as indicated by coordinates pointing to gated communities in Michigan, as well as homes in Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket in Massachusetts.
I've got a feeling we're going to hear a lot about Epstein next year.
I doubt it. They don't want anything else to come out.
So this is basically all of the airspace cut off over England. The DoD, the Department of Defense, has literally cut off the whole of the airspace due to apparently drones, but I'm not so sure. There's basically been swarms of drones or UFOs. Let's say UFO. There's swarms of UFOs flying around various bases. Look at this footage from earlier on yesterday. This was actually over a school in the north of England, not too far from Manchester. And considering this is what happened yesterday, and now all the airspace around England seems to have been shut down, there's video footage of this crazy ball thing flying around above Manchester Airport, landing for a bit. It was apparently glowing blue. I mean, what on earth is going on right now, guys? I think we know that the Department of Defense have not shut down the airspace across England because of drones. They've shut them because of these weird flying UFO orbs that are literally swarming over air bases across England right now. What the hell?
When did this happen?
Yesterday, bro.
This is breaking news coming out of Manchester, UK. A commercial pilot recorded what looked to be a UAP, a UFO, or as everybody likes to coin them now, drones, hovering above Manchester Airport. And this just gets crazier and crazier. He posts it to his Twitter, but he captures this orb-like blue UFO hovering above their airport. It does come down, and he is able to take pictures of what it looks like. It hovers above the tarmac. Per witness accounts, as the security vehicle's approaching the sphere, it jets off into the sky, and they're trying to keep a lid on it. UK officials are not even talking about or even attempting to have a press release about it. Take a look at this and tell me what you think.
They kind of closed the airports for nothing.
You saw the videos, the UFOs.
A guy on Twitter just revealed software that can take an Instagram photo and use AI to search open cameras in a location to see if they could find the video of you taking the photo on that day. So the guy who created Die With Me, which is that chat app you can only use when you have less than 5% battery, just unveiled this software where you give it like the Instagram photo on the left, and on the right you see this AI searching through a bunch of open cameras all around the world to see if they can find the people in the photo with the proper location and give you the video of the photo actually being taken. Personally, I think this is brilliant. This must have been so hard to put together. The effect is fantastic, and it's a great way to remind people that you are constantly being watched. That so much more of your information is out there than you think. Also, it's way easier to find your location at all times than you think. Check out his Twitter. He's got a YouTube video on it if you want to learn more about it. He also has a way to support his page. But yeah, I think this is dope and terrifying.
That's fucking crazy.
It's out of control, bro.
EA did a big thing today. Take a look at this.
We call this space imagination and creation. Let's take a look.
Hey, what if we made a game out of cardboard boxes?
Yeah, let's do it.
Make a maze of cardboard boxes.
Not bad, but maybe a little too simple. Make it more complex. How's that?
What if we make it multi-level? Whoa, let's give that. Wow.
That's cool.
Oh, wow.
Who are we gonna play as? Make 2 characters with weapons.
Does Ubisoft know about this? Lifeline?
I like this one.
Now I'm weapon of
How about...
Oh my god.
Not bad, not bad.
Okay, that's cool.
They're doing crazy layoffs.
It should be a death match.
Right.
Here I come.
You gotta find me first.
Wait, what if we made it so we could only die from a grenade?
Oh, now I'm definitely going to win. Add a rule that you can only die by grenade.
I'm almost there.
I've got something for you. Almost.
Nice try.
Make it more epic. Jesus. Are you seeing this?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Jesus.
Let me take a moment to describe some of the more transformative elements embedded in the video you just saw.
Nobody's clapping.
New friends jumping into an open sandbox, and then creating a new world made of boxes in real time without any coding expertise and in a matter of seconds. The incredible thing is they were able to do this instantaneously using nothing more than natural language.
See, he can't really say the reason why investors should care about this, because it says Electronic Arts Investor Day, right? So this is for investors. But the reason why investors care about this is because this means that they can fire every 3rd level designer. And then the investors make more money.
Over time, you can imagine these same players and others like them continuing to build in, around, and beyond EA's foundations. Maybe even creating experiences that become the basis of entirely new chart-topping IPs.
Ooh.
Represent a new level of symbiotic between our own developers and UGX creators.
Somehow this will cause games to cost more money. Yeah, you guys might think this is gonna save us money. No.
Make it more epic. What
What the fuck?
That's mind-blowing. We've got to be in a simulation.
Elon believes that. He believes that it's very possible. Like one of the things they said, if you could ask AI, what would you ask? He said, what's beyond the simulation?
You get to ask her one question. What would that question be? What's outside the simulation?
But he believes this is a simulation. But if you're Elon Musk, of course you'd believe it's a simulation. People are letting you drill tunnels under LA and shoot rockets off into space, and you're making electric cars, solar roof panels. I mean, he's literally living like some character in a movie. He's like Professor X.
See? It's a simulation.
Fuck what Elon says, bro.
Breaking right now at 11 o'clock, a deadly house fire in the Hollywood Hills. And tonight we're learning about the man with a very famous last name who lived and died there. Eyewitness News reporter Jory Rand live in the Hollywood Hills with the breaking new details tonight. Jory.
Mark, firefighters had a difficult time accessing this home because it's set so far back off the road, and it's at the top of a very steep hill with a very thin stairwell leading up there. Once they did access the home, they made the tragic discovery inside, and it turns out the man who lived there might have been a billionaire. Hollywood Hills neighbors did everything they could to put out this raging fire that broke out at a home on Lookout Mountain Avenue.
I was going up the stairs, and right as I approached the top of the stairs, the flames burst out of the house.
Firefighters knocked down the flames in about 20 minutes, but found the home's elderly occupant dead inside. Neighbors identifying him as Will Rothschild of the Rothschild family.
We're getting a new roof put on tomorrow, and so I told my wife to email him to make sure it's okay that we use part of his driveway. And he never responded, and I said, well, that's unlike him.
Rothschild is described by neighbors as an eccentric millionaire or even billionaire with multiple properties and dozens of some of the most expensive cars on earth. But on a street lined with multi-million-dollar homes and mansions occupied by celebrities and the powerful, Rothschild was said to have lived as a bit of a recluse in a small, old, rickety home in conditions described as that of a hoarder, something the fire department seemed to tactfully confirm tonight.
There's probably something else going on there.
Yeah, they wanted him gone.
This is William Rothschild's house. He just passed away in this house as a result of a fire. And apparently he's a member of the Rothschild banking family. This is about $1 million property, but it's dilapidated. And it is in Laurel Canyon on a street called Lookout Mountain. He was known as a hoarder. There's a lot of debris up there. You can see the fire damage if you look. The air is heavy. It smells awful. Like, that's a weird architectural feature for a garage. There's no information about this guy. There is a heavy energy here, I have to say. Every time I roll through Laurel Canyon, there's just kind of a heavy energy. There's a lot of weird shit has happened in these hills.
They were worried he was going to tell the family secrets, so they took him out.
Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only.
I'm just wondering if the passing of Will Rothschild was known about prior. I'm just wondering why the fire seems so strategically placed that no one could get out or in. I was just wondering if maybe his views lined up with the rest of his family a little bit more. Would there still have been a fire? I'm just wondering why there's so many fires on that one street. I was just wondering if the one person who was for social justice was a recluse because he was the black sheep of the family. I was just wondering why the ME's office said that they might need a few weeks to determine the cause of his passing, when typically smoke inhalation is really easily identifiable. Like I said, I was just wondering.
We've got to do a full episode on the Rothschilds.
And the Rockefellers.
What he was all about. He's the richest man in the world, was raised by a psychopath. John D. Rockefeller's dad was named, they called him Devil Bill. His dad, they know all about his dad. This is not a conspiracy theory. The family, historians will tell you about his father. He created him. He was a snake oil salesman running from the law, changed his name. Devil Bill? Devil Bill, that was his name. So he had a bunch of sons, and John D. Rockefeller was one. He was quoted as saying, "I cheat my sons every day. I want them as sharp as can be." He just beat the living fucking trust out of them and just drowned all their trust. So John D. Rockefeller grew up not trusting anybody. Dude, he got busted for monopolizing oil. They finally indicted him. He had to break apart Standard Oil, and it made him a billionaire. That's what made him rich, is when he got busted. When he had to sell everything off, he took over education. Dude, you know how he took over universities? Dude, he wanted to take over the world. He wasn't just trying to sell gas, he was trying to take over the world. Our education system is all based on Rockefeller Foundation shit. Like, he strategically wanted to make school so that we got people just smart enough, this isn't conspiracy there, just smart enough to work. They didn't want anybody too smart.
His name was Devil Bill.
Yeah, bro. All the elite are Satanists.
Above me you can see one of the most evil places on Earth, a castle known by the name of Mother of Darkness, a hidden gathering spot for the elites who do dark rituals and occult practices. YouTube channel named Paranormal Files has recently done an amazing documentary about this castle. They didn't just research this topic, they actually went there as well and did a paranormal investigation. Their investigation dives very deep into the horrible history that this castle is trying to hide. Documentary even suggests that authorities are trying to hide his secrets. If you're drawn to see the dark side of history, because this is very dark, I suggest you check their channel out and you can find this video in YouTube. I personally want to thank for their work. I think it's amazing what they do. And if you watch the documentary, come back, drop a comment as well.
I'm glad that this place is fucked up.
Mark did try work for them.
This guy is known as the Beast of Belgium, and the crimes he committed were so atrocious that anyone in Belgium with the same last name as his decided to change them. His name is Mark Dutroux. In the 1980s, he went on a spree of SAing multiple women. Eventually, he was caught and sentenced to 13 years in prison. Unfortunately, he was released after just 3 years for good behavior. That would end up being a huge mistake. Even his own mother would show up at his parole hearings in order to beg the justice system to not release her son. But they didn't listen and he was let go. He would then go on to kidnap these 6 young girls. And the things he did to them were absolutely horrific. And it was this house that would come to be known as the House of Horrors. Mark had this fantasy of building a utopian city underground where he would be king and all of the girls that he kidnapped would be his wives. But it was definitely not anything luxurious. It was in this tiny 3-foot cellar where Mark would keep the girls. And he would essentially have his way with them and put them through these miserable and horrific things. And some of the girls were even forced to stay there for months and months at a time. But this story gets much worse and it's very long and complicated.
This case was insane. Over 300,000 people protested on the streets of Belgium because the government were protecting him.
The government are Satanists too.
I come from a family of people that were deep practicing Luciferians and who had been utilizing old world religion to try to rule and govern people from the shadows. And I was used as a battery bank for perverts and people that are more than willing to exploit their children in order to blackmail other people and control them and manipulate them. But that was never wasted. And so my family instead took the inevitable shattering and the splitting of my soul and weaponized it in dissociative identity disorder and split personality in order to try to engineer parts and pieces that were more conducive for the family's interest. And so my family comes from a long heraldry of people that do have an appeal to kingship and thrones and powers and majesties, and they execute that as the divine right to rule. They rule from the shadows because they believe anonymity is without question far more effective as a means of controlling the nations than publicity. So I grew up in a family where secrecy was the currency and blackmail was the most effective way to build currency. And so I was a part of that from earliest years of my life, and ultimately led me into a life of a lot of violence and hatred and learning the arts of silence, how to terrorize targets. I believed they were bad guys when they would tell me who to go hunt. And some of them were 100% convinced and witnessed them doing the worst kinds of things to other innocents. Others later on, you kind of figure out that I'm just a wet worker for other people's interests.
This guy speaks too comfortably about all this stuff.
Loads of people have escaped, bro.
I was in the United States, being trafficked in the United States by a powerful billionaire who was basically triaging me and training me in his homes.
Who is this?
I'm not saying who that is yet. I have to be careful what I say.
Is he a person we would know?
Definitely, you would know the name.
Alive or dead?
Dead. He was, he was taking me here. I was in the United States, so I was either in his homes, 3 of his homes I spent time in, or I was in the room in the daytime sometimes, in a bedroom, or I was even at a family's near DC for a week, basically parked in a family, nice family that treated me well, probably satanic family, and that were very happy to do a favor for this man. After that, was taken to Germany, and I was there for another month in a facility in Heidelberg for what was my mind control training. And this is 1972, and I was 9 years old.
Mind control training at 9 years old?
Yeah.
Why did they take you there?
When I met this billionaire, he had me in his homes and everything to get me used to the life of the elite, so that I would know how to eat, so that I would recognize good clothes, so that I would be comfortable in these environments. And alongside that, we went to on one of the islands on the northeastern coast of the United States and saw there, and this was a Rothschild who was there.
Rothschild.
A Rothschild, yeah. We were with Evelyn the Rothschild for 1 day only. And it was clear that this billionaire, who you would think is just as powerful as this Rothschild, was not as powerful in the network as he was. And he was asking for permission. He wanted to make me into an elite slave where I would become famous in France, and then with that role, I would attract the most powerful men in the world, and I would be able to spy on them for him and so forth.
Was that David Rockefeller?
All right. Okay, there you go.
You never talked about this.
I've never said his name.
You know, you hear these stories and you wonder, there's no way these people are capable of doing something like that.
I don't know how anyone could treat children like that.
It happens all the time.
The mother hid her baby daughter in a drawer for 3 years, feeding her only milky Weetabix via a syringe. The toddler was kept a secret from the woman's partner and her other children. Chester Crown Court heard she had never known daylight or fresh air until she was found weeks before her 3rd birthday by the woman's partner. She was left without food for long periods of time and was so malnourished that she had the appearance of a 7-month-old. The mother admitted child cruelty and was jailed for 7.5 years. The judge told her the consequences for the child were nothing short of catastrophic.
She was sick in the head. Don't mean there was anything satanic going on.
People do satanic rituals all the time and they don't even know it. We should do a Christmas episode about all the fucked up shit linked to Christmas.
Yeah, that sounds festive. I bet people will love that.
I got a call from will.i.am saying, listen, I want to take this record. Will you give it to me? Basically trying to do everything legitimately. I want to put Britney on it. I want to release it around the world. It'll be amazing for you, as a writer. And I said no. I want it to be my next single. This is going to be my next single. I can't give it to you. I need a follow-up from Young. Just casually sitting at home, and there it was on the telly. That's you found out? Yeah, Britney's just singing, and I'm like, is that my voice on the record that she's singing over? When you listen in the club, All Eyes on Us, All Eyes on Us, you can hear it. My vocals are on the record, so she's singing on top of me. That's why she's got the British accent. And so yeah, it started the long process of another legal case, which, amazingly, thankfully, turned out in my favor. And actually, now I don't complain about it because royalties are good.
They just do whatever they want.
Mate, the whole music industry's fucked.
because the music industry is broken. Yeah, it is absolutely fucking broken. They have destroyed it totally. 125 venues closed last year. And there's been an increase in the cost of presenting live music by like 30.3% in the past 2 years. They're just like crushing grassroots counterculture. The grassroots are in absolute crisis, but profits at the top are just like soaring, and they keep continuing to rise. And you know, Live Nation are like profiting, like their revenue's like 22 billion, and Spotify, their shareholders, boo, exactly, fucking boo. Spotify shareholders just cashed out over 419 million between them. Meanwhile, they pay us 0.003 of a penny. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
It's fuck all.
I bet most people don't know how little musicians make.
I think, about a plan to buy Marvel, the comic business, back in 2001 or 2, I think it was. Let's listen to this.
We could easily go into Universal and buy. We would own Jaws, E.T., Close Encounters, you know, all the classics from Universal. Own all of that stuff. And that will allow us to do a a channel. Part of the Marvel channel can be not only the Marvel characters, but Marvel films, like the catalog. We could do anything we want, from restaurants to retail, theme parks.
Now, you actually got the financing in place, I believe, for this deal. Then came the scandal court cases, and it all got put on the back burner. Disney ended up buying Marvel and doing exactly what Michael had predicted and making a fortune at it. Tell me about this.
He was innocent, bro. They set him up.
Let us know in the comments if you guys want to see us do a full episode on Michael Jackson.
Warwick Castle is a very well-known monument in the world. There are some people that have no idea about it. I mean, they live across the street and they say, what is that thing over there? This has been here almost 100 years in Homestead. This is very recent history. But since it's so impressive, it's very well known, with nobody knowing. Everybody trying to gossip and everybody trying to spy on him, but nobody ever saw him erecting the rocks or bringing them or quarried them out of the ground. This has been put right next to other monuments in the world, like Stonehenge or Machu Picchu, that create that same kind of energy that is so difficult to explain. How this guy could do this all by himself, at night working, building. So when people visited the castle, he always gave tours. That was his way of living. When he gave tours, people would say, oh my God, last week when I came, that moon wasn't here. How did he bring it? And people would gossip around and they would admire him. He was like a celebrity in his own time.
How could one guy build all that on his own?
He said he knew how they built the pyramids.
If this one man, this one tiny person, can do all of this, then what can 100,000 people do in a lifetime? Echoing the words of Orville, you know, in the 1950s, he labeled the children as a push-button generation. Now, that's the generation of, like, my parents or my grandparents, and I don't consider them lazy, but perhaps their parents did, and their grandparents even more so. I think as time progressed, life's gotten a lot easier, and I think the further we move away from the origin of Coral Castle, the more impossible it's going to be to believe that someone did this with their hands. But I think the more important question isn't how. I think the more important question that might make us think a little bit more is why? Why go through all the trouble to move your castle to a different location that's been set on these ley lines? Why line it up to the cardinal points? Why the celestial connection? Was he just a fan of mystery? We know that he was a romantic. Perhaps he wanted to instill some of that romance into the people visiting Coral Castle. Everyone who visited Ed's place left with a feeling of wonder, and maybe that finally gave Ed some purpose.
How many people were involved don't really matter when you're talking about coral and marble. It's a totally different ballgame.
There's a lot we don't know about ancient stonework, bro. But we'll have to save that for next time.
Right up, Ted, we've got to do this week's giveaway.
If you want to win some of our merch, leave a comment on this video for a chance to win next week. It's Wolf Bane 80, bro.
Bang bang!
Pick a t-shirt or a mug from our website and we'll send it straight out, bro.
Our Mothman special is dropping next week. We can't wait to show you guys what we've built for it. We're going to take the production levels up to a whole new level on this one.
Make sure you've got your popcorn ready.
And as always, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.